The toilet rat has taken a victory for his little bullshit event in Israel and then in Egypt. It's just incredible what this asshole has put together. There is no peace in the Middle East. Please understand that. There is a temporary cessation of the most violent of hostilities, but the hostilities still continue. And the slaughter, I said this yesterday, I guess it was Monday, the slaughter of innocent Palestinians and so many kids, so many young people, 20, 30, 40,000 kids under the age of 10, most of them under the age of 5, butchered, blown to pieces by American weaponry in the hands of this murderous son of a bitch, Netanyahu. Oy. So any means or method of stopping that butchery has got to be positive, and I acknowledge that and accept it and celebrate it. But for Trump and Netanyahu, this was nothing more than a photo op. That's all. Trump is such a fucking phony, such an unbelievable phony, that he would go to the extent that he went to. God only knows what he said to Netanyahu to get this set up, because Netanyahu is still, and always will be, as long as a fucker draws in breath, he will be determined to destroy or remove every last Palestinian in what he considers to be Eretz Israel. So whatever Trump said to him, probably, Netanyahu is such a jerk off to begin with, as is Trump. But I think Netanyahu is intimidated by Trump because Trump provides Netanyahu with all the means and methods of murdering thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. So whatever Trump said to get Netanyahu to agree with this, it will remain a mystery forever, because both of them are fucking liars, deceivers. They're both criminals, and they both have committed war crimes. So the toilet rat, when he addressed the Knesset, the Israeli assembly, Congress, Parliament, whatever you want to call it, he said that this pause, and that's my word, and I think that's all it is, that this pause, quote, this is Trump, quote, not only the end of a war, this is the end of the age of terror and death. Oh, fuck you, Donald. Who wrote that for you? The little Nazi Jew, Stephen Miller? And he used a line that other presidents have tried to use and been disappointed when they used it, whether it was George W. Bush or Jimmy Carter or Bill Clinton. The toilet rat said this, quote, this is the historic dawn of a new Middle East, end quote. Oh, give me a fucking break. But this is what American audiences and Israeli audiences wanted to hear, and the toilet rat, who is granted, he is a star. He's just a TV star. And he knows how to manipulate people. He knows how to manipulate the media. And then after he issued out this bullshit, he went to Egypt, where dozens of world leaders, did you see the pictures? All those flags. Who in the fuck engineered that? Who put that together? Huh? Was that Marco Polo Rubio? Was that Stephen Miller? Who put that together? Oh, it was so cute. Dozens of world leaders were waiting for his arrival for what was being billed as, don't gag, a peace summit. And all it was the pomp and circumstance and bullshit and celebratory applause for the orange-faced monkey that he just loves. He loves that kind of shit, right? It doesn't make any difference what the substance of something is. The important part to the toilet rat is what is its form. Fuck the substance. Form is all he cares about. Banners with his goddamn face on it were all along the streets of Sheikh Al what is it? Sheikh Al Sharm? God damn it. Yeah, which is a sea resort, Sharm el Sheikh. I'm sorry. It's a sea resort area in Egypt where the wealthy can go and spend their wealth. But all along the streets, when this dumb fuck arrived, there were these banners with his hideous face on it. And keep in mind, please, that Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the president of Egypt, is a fucking dictator. He took over as a result of a military coup. Trump gave him billions of dollars in order to effect this. The last time the toilet rat was, millions of dollars. And in return, al-Sisi turned around when Trump needed the money in the 2020 election. Al-Sisi gave $20 million back to Trump. I mean, these two are like rats in a goddamn hovel someplace. Al-Sisi, don't kid yourself. He's a fascist son of a bitch, and that's why Trump loves him. So, El-Sisi said this. All these guys were given a chance to make their little fatuous statements. El-Sisi said, quote, "From the city of Sharm el-Sheikh, the will of the people meets the resolve of world leaders to end the war in Gaza. They all carry a single message to mankind. Enough war. Welcome to peace." Would that were true. Would that were true. Welcome to peace. But the cessation of the murder carried out by Netanyahu against the Palestinian people, that ceasing could have stopped months ago, a year and a half ago. In fact, as I tried to make the point, and again, you have to excuse my innocence sometimes because so many times I see things as either black or white. It's difficult for me to see gray. But I made the suggestion after that invasion by Hamas that killed 1,700 Israelis, that yes, the Israelis should have gone after every one of the fuckers that were still alive, every one of these Hamas people, even though the Hamas militants figured they were justified in what they were doing, given how many Palestinians have been killed by the Israelis over the past 75 or 80 years. Does murder justify murder? Well, I guess in the animalistic parts of our brains, yeah, of course it does. You kill my people, I'm going to fucking kill yours plus. But I'm not trying to justify an attack against innocent civilians, whether it's done by Hamas or Israel or the United States or Vietnam or whoever the fuck. What a rotten way to express our humanity, right? Oh, Jesus Christ. But if you are a Palestinian, especially if you were a Hamas fighter, you probably figured that what you were doing, while it was miserable, bloody work, and innocent people were going to die, and innocent people did die, in the minds of, I'm sure, so many Hamas fighters, it was justifiable. Just like our slaughter of hundreds of thousands of innocent Japanese people with the use of nuclear weapons was justifiable. It always is, isn't it? I don't give a fuck who does the killing. Hamas, United States, Putin, Netanyahu, it doesn't matter. If I come to kill your people, I can somehow justify it, and I will justify it. So this bullshit in Israel and Sharm el-Sheikh is a bunch of just that, bullshit. There is no peace in the Middle East. And at that Egyptian summit, no Israel, no Hamas. It was a fucking photo op for Trump. And the toilet rats' inner circle of slime, they released what appeared to be, according to New York Times, what appeared to be a document signed by the countries that did attend. But there was nothing in the document that committed any of the signatories to anything specific. Nothing. This was a goddamn photo op. And what was the hammer that this filthy orange-faced asshole who's the president of the United States held over people's heads? What, the threat of tariffs? So one thing that the Times pointed out, let me quote this for you. Rarely has an American president, particularly one as divisive at home as Mr. Trump is, been met with such adulation abroad. In Hostages Square in Tel Aviv, tens of thousands yelled, "Trump! Trump!" And in the Knesset, some members wore red MAGA-style hats. Oh, my fucking word. I wonder what Chinese salesperson jumped on that when it was apparent that Trump was going to go there and rushed to Israel to sell all these red hats, because that's where they're made. So Netanyahu, missing out on some of the adulation, as a matter of fact, his name was mentioned on Saturday night in Hostages Square in Tel Aviv, he was roundly booed. But the war criminal bastard Netanyahu declared the toilet rat to be, quote, the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House, end quote. And there was more talk of nominating him for the Nobel Peace Prize, the next year, and the Israel Prize. Yeah, they apparently have one. So there was a bunch, according to the Times, enthusiastic applause when the toilet rat described Israel's assassinations of Iranian nuclear scientists during that 12-day bombing of Iran. And there was more applause when the toilet rat detailed the number of B-2 bombers again, the refuelers and the support aircraft that dropped those bunker busters on the 3 Iranian nuclear sites. And according to the Times, just beneath the surface of all this happy horse shit, there were obvious differences, though, over the future of Gaza, and even over whether the ceasefire that is finally allowing food and medicine to flow into the territory would necessarily lead to a lasting peace. Trump told reporters, both on Air Force One on the way to Israel and in the hallways of the Knesset, he kept saying this over and over. I'm sure the Nazi Jew said to him, keep saying it, keep fucking saying it. And he kept saying, the war is over. The war is over. Sounded like John Lennon. The war is over. The war is over if you want it. The war is over. The war is over. Is the war over? Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.